What up, everybody? Welcome, man, to this Wednesday special edition to Monday Man Cave. Your host, Reed here for BGSENetwork and MCXPRadio. I got Broken. I got my boy Chris here in the mix. We got some good topics to talk about. Without further ado, man, we're gonna get into it. You feel me? Let's get it.
Swagger pimp, yeah. Can't now another nigga like me. Yeah. Okay, it goes 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, rockin'. It's time for hip hop. When they reach watch, no sir, not for show. No bars made up of fairy tales. I'm trying for a tragedy, I know it well. So put your hands up in the air just for the winners. A peace sign, the pimps, the prostitutes, the sinners. We all deserve a second chance, but we products of illusion and victims of our own circumstance. Apply the pressure, I bet you can. Live the life that you love, shout out to Rand. Love the life that you live, shout out again. It ain't a tough pill to swallow once you comprehend.
Welcome to the mix. Boy, Reed, the musicologist, man. I got to report y'all know Broken always in the mix with me. Every so often he's out there on the road. And my man Chris, man, from Chris Hates Everything. I was about to say everybody hates Chris.
Yeah.
But I like how you flipped it. I like how you flipped that, bro. Good to see you guys, man. Glad that you guys can join me for the show for the special edition on Wednesday. Couldn't make it on Monday. I got too busy. But I had to make a video for you guys and make sure y'all had some content. Make sure you guys are checking out BGSENetwork, all the shows that we have going on from my show, Money Man Cave, Two Birds. Um, what is it? My boy Big Game and Jay Styles. Y'all know how they do it. So check us out, man. I appreciate you guys. Everybody that's been tuning in, logging in, checking us out. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, hit follow, and do all that good stuff. Of course, man, my man Chris, he has his own podcast. Make sure you check that out too as well. Chris hates everything, and it is quite hilarious. Glad you guys to be here, man. Glad that you guys can make it. Let's get into the mix, man. Are you fellas ready, man? Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff that's been going on. First and foremost, I know a lot of people. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Football season is here. College football, NFL football is right around the corner, starting on Thursday. But if you're a football head, man, this is that time of year. Some of the best stuff that I have. I always love this time of year. I always
Yes,
love it,
sir.
man. I always love it. I always call this a man soap opera.
NFL free
Well,
agency.
that's more like WWE to me. That's
Nah,
more like
nah.
a soap because a soap opera is scripted. It's literally scripted. That's why I call WWE, AEW, old school WCW, WWF. That's the male soap opera in my opinion.
Okay, I can see where you can go with that, but it's still the cliffhangers, the drama. What you don't know? Okay, if that's the soap opera, then this is like
I mean, y'all niggas think the
it'll be a
NFL
Netflix series or
y'all
something like
hey
that. I don't know.
y'all think the NFL and the NBA is scripted anyway, nigga. So I guess we can go ahead and call it
Man,
scripted.
I don't think the NBA is scripted, but the NFL do feel scripted at times.
Both of them feel scripted at times. Both at times. I'm not going on record to say that it is, but it does feel like it at times. And there's been plenty of examples of that, but we're not gonna. That's another show for another day. But I will say that with football being here, right around the corner, man. College football has already started. Like I say, NFL football is starting this week, man. This is some of the most. This is one of my favorite times of the year, man. Like I said, man, I'm on the edge of my seat every single week because you don't know who's gonna win. You don't know who's gonna pull up an upset. You don't know
Hmm.
who's gonna get hurt. You don't know who's the MVP and whatnot. You make all these discussions of who's going to be an MVP, who's going to be a Super Bowl winner, who's going to go to the championships and stuff like that. But you don't know unless you sit down and you watch and you pay attention. And you best believe for these 17 goddamn weeks, I'm going to be paying attention. Of course, I'm gonna be looking at college football and stuff like that. I can't say that I'm a real like I have one real true team that I do follow when it comes to college. Um, I just enjoy watching it. I just enjoy watching it. Um, I feel like it's always a flip of the coin every year because you never know
Well,
who's
my
gonna like. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that TCU would have made it to the championship last year and played a big time team like Georgia? Nobody. Nobody had that effect. And I was happy for them. TCU is literally right down the corner from me. They're right down the street. Probably about 10 minutes. 10, 15 minutes away from where I stay. So it's cool for the city of Fort Worth. But again,
yeah,
nobody had that in their mind that
it's not
TCU
that
was going to
far.
win the national
It's
championship.
not that far from me. It's not that far from me as well.
Yeah, yeah. So nobody had that in mind, bro. So you look at that team going to the national championship last year. Fast forward to what was it? Was this just what that past Saturday? TCU plays the Colorado Buffaloes. They were 1-11 last year. Y'all know the story. Deion Sanders leaves Jackson State, becomes the new head coach, the new head coach for the Colorado Buffaloes. Deion's debut, and wow, was it a debut? Was it a debut that he had? If you have been following that story, you know that he had brought a number of people with him, a number of students with him to come over there and play in Colorado, including his son. I believe his two sons, actually. I think his other son plays on the defense, but I know that Shadur Sanders, his main is quarterback, is his son. Um, he came out and he played, and he had a spectacular freaking game. I say this kid threw for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns with no interceptions.
Okay, hold on,
And
not to cut you off. I don't know anything about this nigga. I just heard about the story. Like, how good is he?
good, man.
Like,
Very good. Very good. Very good. Good to the point that his dad, Deion Sanders, did get Tom Brady to kind of mentor him and show him some things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, if you can get some love from the GOAT, and I'm going to say it, I just believe Tom Brady is the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, fuck, 7 championships, you can't tell me nothing else. Of course, it's my personal opinion, but um, and as much as I hate to say that, I mean, it's just what I feel. But yeah, he got Tom Brady to kind of coach him and mentor him and stuff, throughout the offseason and stuff like that. And even Tom Brady had texted him after the game, after they had won the game, and told him, "Don't even be satisfied with that. Don't be satisfied with those stats that you did. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep on pushing. You need to be a monster out there." Not a lot of kids can get that opportunity, man. Not a lot of kids can get those chances.
privilege,
So,
famous dad.
yeah, yeah, for real, for real. So you got to take advantage of those things. I don't blame them. I don't blame
I don't
Shadur
think so.
Sanders at all, man. Because hell, I would have took as much, um, as much knowledge as I could have got from any professional in the league, especially if they've had major success. Why not get, you know, knowledge from Tom Brady? You know, fuck, my dad is Deion Sanders. He got the code. He got the plug. Fuck.
Just thinking Deion Sanders must be the money.
Must be the money. Oh man, those were good times. Those were good times.
It was the best of times.
Best of times. Quite frankly, personally to me, I still consider Deion the best cornerback ever to play in the National Football League, and I will debate that with anybody. But again, man, I gotta give a shout out to Deion Sanders, to the Colorado Buffaloes for coming into the TCU. They came down to Fort Worth and
Salute.
they had a freaking shootout. But in the end of the game, they handled their business. So I gotta give them kudos for that, man. You guys' opinion, man. How are y'all feeling about this change with Dion? How do you feel? Will this success kind of build onto more and more things for Colorado? Was it a good move? You know, how y'all feel?
I mean, I don't know too much about college football, but I don't know if this is gonna. I don't. It doesn't feel like it's gonna turn into a string of wins. It might. I don't know. Who knows? The kid's gonna get tested next week, so they're gonna be on his ass next week. The film is out now.
Well,
So.
who do they play next week? What's
That's a good
their?
question too.
They got Nebraska. Nebraska's coming home next week. So
Okay.
they have a
Okay.
home game. They have a home game in Colorado with Nebraska.
Okay, Nebraska hasn't been as strong as they have been in the past, but I mean they're still a good school, right? I believe Nebraska is a Big Ten school, and that's a little step up in competition from where Colorado plays now currently in the Pac-12, but they will be moving to the Big 12, or is that's what it's called, the Big 12, right? So they'll be moving over there next season, I believe. So,
Big Ten, then now.
well, Big Ten Big Ten itself is about to be like Big 12 or 13 or 14, right? Because the Big Ten is adding USC, UCLA, and one or two other schools. The Big 12 is adding like 4 schools. The Big 12 is about to be the Big 16. So the Big 12 is adding Colorado, Arizona, I believe, Arizona State, or Arizona might be going to Big 10. Arizona State, I believe, is going to Big 12. I mean, it's a lot of realignment happening in the next few years. Pac-12 is going to be the Pac-4 after all this is over. This shit is ridiculous. Like the only schools, the only schools that didn't leave is the only big school that did not leave the Pac-12 so far is Stanford.
Wait, where did Oregon go?
Stanford and Washington is I believe is the only ones left. I forgot where Oregon. I believe Oregon State left. I believe Oregon State is going to Big 12 maybe, and I think Oregon left too. I'm not sure where Oregon is going. But we would have to. I can't. Don't quote me on that for sure. I know Stanford, I believe, is the one last big school. That Stanford and Washington, I believe, because I believe Washington State is leaving as well. So or either Washington is leaving. We got to look that up because I'm giving out a lot of misinformation possibly. But
well, I mean, one thing you're not lying about is that it is about to be a whole bunch of movement. A whole bunch of movement.
The realignment is crazy. The realignment.
And it kind of sucks. I hate it.
USC, UCLA is leaving.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know. Me personally, I like change. I like change. Y'all. I'm not gonna say y'all, but a lot of people out there like to hold on to the tradition in some of these conferences and leagues, even in cities. I mean, people still hate the fact that the Chargers left San Diego, even though San Diego fans could care less. They don't fuck with the Chargers no more because they left. But everybody that does not live in San Diego, oh man, I wish they was in San Diego. Nobody that lives in San Diego says that. They're like, fuck the Chargers and fuck the Chargers owner. So that's just how it is.
To be in San Diego.
Well, too bad they're not there. They're not going back. So
yeah, obviously.
Cry more. Okay, but getting back to Colorado, right? So we said, okay, is this going to lead to some more wins? So I got to bring in a little bit of dose of reality with Colorado. It's a good win. I believe ultimately it's a good move or whatever, but we got to look at them in the terms of long-term success. They're going to get more than one win this season. They only had one last year. They got their first win in their very first game. Now, are they going to get their second win in their second game? Or maybe it might be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 games before they get the second win. Who knows? But they got a few gaps in their team. They got a problem on defense. They gave up 262 rushing yards in
Damn.
that game at TCU. They only won the game by 3 points. They gave up 42 points. They gave up 262 rushing yards. They gave up 37 attempts. On offense, what'd you say, Reed? You said Sanders, Shador had 510 yards passing. Now, guess how many
Yeah.
total yards in offense they had? Well, if you said my quarterback is going to throw for 510 yards, then what is going to be my total yards for my team? What? Go ahead and guess that number if you don't know it already.
I would guess it was in the 700 range, bro. 600-700 range.
Low six.
If my quarterback does 500, I still got running backs and stuff like that. They're still gonna run the ball at some point in time. So I gotta account for maybe another. If my quarterback can throw 500 freaking yards, then I'm assuming that my running back can probably end up running and probably have a good 120 yard game.
Nah,
Probably even more than that.
I say less. I'm just guessing. Like
What?
Like it's under 6. It's like either 600 or less.
Okay, well, Chris is definitely closer. My boy Grip, I still call him Grip. You know what I'm saying? Word, it's Grip. But
It's all
yeah,
gonna be grip.
560.
No grip.
They had 565 total yards.
Yeah.
565. So that means 55
means-
yards rushing.
That's correct. They only had 55 yards rushing with 34 attempts, which means they only averaged 1.6 on the ground in that game.
Game film is out. The game film.
So they gave up 200. They gave up 200 more yards rushing than they gained. They gave up 262 on the ground, and they only ran for 55 themselves. So Sanders is great. I mean, his completion percentage is friggin' amazing. He's 38 for 47.
Damn.
I mean, that is friggin' amazing. I mean, he's very impressive. His accuracy is spot on. He can throw the deep ball. He can throw the short ball. The ball was getting out on time. He throws the ball on time.
Nice. And butt spirals.
I mean, he looked like he was going through his possessions as well. And, I mean, he was getting the ball to the right spots. Now, is he going to be able to do that against some of the better defenses? We all know TCU defense. It leaks like a sieve at points. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure if they was really making him go through his possessions. They sacked him a few times, but he had a lot of passes where he had a pretty clean pocket. He did make some moves out of the pocket, though. I give him that, too. He manipulated the pocket. He ran outside. He was able to throw on the run. I mean, very impressive game. But if he gets shut down by some of these better defenses, you play in Alabama, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even want to bring up Alabama, but I mean, Ohio State. I mean, you play some of these other SEC teams. US.
Hey, you say USC. Let me bring up while y'all on that time. Let me go ahead and bring up the schedule.
USC.
I got the schedule up right there. So they got Nebraska next, Colorado State.
Okay.
They're gonna be playing Oregon.
Okay.
USC. Arizona State, Stanford, UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Washington State, and Utah. So they literally got one, two,
that's
three.
That's all their Pac-12. Pac-12. That's all their Pac-12. Do they have any more out of conference games?
No, that's their whole schedule.
That's the whole schedule right there.
So Nebraska is their only out of conference that's left.
Ticket prices, those TV game.
So TCU, they had the two out of conference games like very early. TCU, well, I think Colorado State might be out of conference as well. I think they like Mountain or something like that.
Who?
Colorado State.
Oh, okay.
I think I think they're out of conference. But so their last game, all their last games on their whole schedule is like all in conference games, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh I mean they're used to playing some of these teams. Uh None of these teams are really known for great defense, honestly. I mean, including USC. USC has an amazing offense, but I mean they are ranked number 6. So Utah, so
I mean, at least
all
at
the
this
ranked
point.
all the ranked teams obviously are their challenges, right? I mean, TCU was they went to the national championship, but they're still only preseason ranked at 17, so they're gonna drop. Uh, USC won their first game, and I'm not sure about these other teams. USC has obviously they got Williams, they got that great quarterback, but I mean USC haven't been known for their defense recently either. So uh, let's see how they do against Nebraska. Let's see how they do against a Big Ten team that may be bringing a little better defense. Let's see if they can try to get those run numbers up, and we'll see what Sanders can do at quarterback. We'll see if he can still throw for that many yards with that accuracy. I
He
think it's
won't
gonna
be
be
throwing for 500 every single game. I will say, I think they will have a better record than what they had last year from 1-11. I think they will outdo that. Um, I'll give them I'll give them a good 4 maybe right now. I have to see more down the line of how they continue to work, how they continue to put their game plans and stuff together. I give them 4 right now, and not even saying that that's a bad thing. I mean, it's definitely a boost from being 111 from last year, but let's see. Let's see.
I'm
Let's
not.
see
I
what these
mean,
guys
I
do.
I wouldn't even attempt to try. Me personally, I wouldn't even attempt to try to put a number on their wins or whatever. I think we just gotta let the season play out. I know Deion is just a winner, man, and I think his son is a winner as well. They just for whatever reason they know how to win. He knows how to pull his games out. I was impressed with his coaching. I was impressed with some of the coaching moves he made in that game because there were certain points in that game where he played conservative when he had to. There were certain points in that game where they took shots down the field when they needed to. You know what I'm saying?
Give you that.
They converted a huge third and like 19 or
Hmm.
16 or something like that late in that game in the fourth quarter, and they wasn't scared to throw that deep ball, and it was perfect. It was on the spot, and they converted that. That helped them win that game. So, uh, I mean, I think the coaching was there. I think over man, all around, it was just you couldn't, like you say, you couldn't really have a more perfect first game except for them defensive numbers and the rushing numbers or whatever like that. But I mean, it's a high scoring game, and TCU is a Big 12 team. Big 12 is known for scoring. So Colorado will be in the Big 12, and yeah, I mean,
I mean, granted,
I loved it. I loved it.
granted, it's the first game of the season, and both teams didn't necessarily know how the other team was going to play. Whenever I look at games that come out to be to this score 45-42, or however the case may be, I mean, it's almost like there was no real game planning that could be there, or just shit. The defense just has so many holes in it that they just got exposed. So I mean, there's a million different factors that you can go through that. This being the first game of the season, I just don't feel like TCU really had a game plan what they could really use to study Deion
Well,
Sanders.
they either got a new coach or a new offensive coordinator, something like that, right? I
Yeah,
believe
yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
so, and then they didn't have their quarterback from last season. They didn't have Duggan, so he went to the NFL. So
And he on the
there,
Chargers? I
there's
think no practice squad. I think he made practice squad.
for the Chargers.
Yeah.
I, I I don't know where he went. He's not gonna ever play for us.
Yeah, check that. Check that.
We got Herbert, we got Sherbert, we got Rainbow Sherbert down back there. So we ain't got to worry about Max Dugan. Oh yeah, I think no, we did draft him. You're right, we did
Yeah,
draft him, okay, and we drafted a wide receiver from TCU as well.
yeah,
So
yeah. He's gonna be nice though. Quentin Johnson, he's gonna be nice, I think. But yeah, but all in
so
all, man.
what'd you think about Travis Hunter though? So what'd you think about? We got to talk about Travis Hunter playing on both sides of the ball. I think he had something like 80, like 60 snaps in that game.
No,
Can
no,
he do?
he did over a
Can
hundred,
he?
bro.
Over 100.
He
Oh,
did
he had
over a
over
hundred
100
snaps.
snaps over in
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
game. So okay, so can he do this for the whole season?
no,
I don't know.
No,
no,
and he shouldn't.
no, no, no. And I agree with Grip. He shouldn't. They need to designate him to be on one side of the ball.
And where do
Yeah.
you think that? I have an idea
Offense.
what I have an idea what I think that is, but
They
I
need well, they
think
need on both ends, but it'll probably it's probably gonna be offense.
I think they need him on defense more because, and the reason I say that is because their defense is already. I mean, they gave up 42 points, right? He had a crucial interception in that game, close to the goal line. You know what I'm saying? Where he made an amazing play on that. They were challenging him, and he was holding up in the end zone a couple times, where the quarterback was like specifically going after him and see if he would hold up, and he did. Me personally, I believe they would need him. And plus, I mean, they had four different wide receivers catch 100 yards in that game,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah,
they had Dylan Edwards, running back, 5 catches, 135 yards. He had a 75-yard catch and run for a touchdown. Hunter did catch 11 balls for 119. So, I mean, you can't, discount that. But they also had Jimmy Horn Jr. caught 11 for 117 with a TD. And they had Xavier Weaver catch 6 for 118. So, I mean, you had three other
Boy just
guys
had a good game
that caught receipt. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, had an
all
amazing game.
across the board. Like damn.
And if you got Sanders, and I mean, if you got Sanders delivering the ball like that, to be able to pick out different guys and average 10 yards a throw, like if you're averaging 10 yards a pass in any league, that's a good average. It sounds low, but 10 yards a pass is an amazing average in any league. And throwing for 4 TDs with no interceptions, like you said, I mean, to me, I think they would need him more on defense.
I say defense.
I think I would keep him as that corner.
Yeah,
I would at least I
let
would at least give him more snaps on defense and play him sparingly on offense when it's needed. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. Let him be
if
the
he's
shutdown
not,
corner.
well, it's kind of like Deion, right? Like where they would put Deion at wide receiver every now and then and kind of use him as a decoy, because what happens is if he's not playing every snap, then as soon as he comes in the game, they think you're going to him, right? So then
Hmm.
they either gonna overload to his side or they're gonna put their best guy on him. Like they'll have a spy on him or whatever. They'll say, okay, whenever Hunter comes in the game, you got him. As soon as you see him, check in, you got them, or they game plan for him. But you can play tricks around that, even though he's not playing every offensive snap. So you can still do things with him to take advantage of either decoying him or his speed or his route running ability, which he ran some pretty good routes in that game as well. And so I think if he's gonna start breaking down a little bit or just start getting a little tired or whatever, I don't think he can keep it up for the whole season playing so many snaps. Or you just do it in important games. So obviously the first game of the season was a really big game for Deion. He needed to win this game. He needed to put the rest of college football on notice that they were real. So I think that's why he played them so much. You know what I'm saying? On both sides of the ball. And but yeah, I think me personally, I would see him on defense more. We'll see what Deion does.
Definitely. I think he needs to. I think he needs to be on defense. I don't think they need to play him that much. But again, we'll see how the season unfolds. Again, man, I want to congratulate Deion and the Colorado Buffaloes, man. I think this is going to be an interesting season to watch. So, Deion is bringing that swagger, and he's always had, like Grip said, it must be the money. Shit, it's the shine. It's prime time, baby. It's prime time football.
We make a lot of money in them NIL deals, so
Is
Yeah, man.
is Colorado a lot of people new favorite team now? Like what we seeing with
No. A lot
no
of people are going to be on that
no.
bandwagon
I don't
just to
know.
watch.
It's a lot of hate. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot more hate, though. A
It's a lot
lot
more
more
hate
hate
than
than I
anything
would say
else.
support.
The
Yeah.
whole country want them to lose.
Just they
So,
hate
we'll see.
Deion. Yeah, they hate that swagger that Deion brings to it. But again, man, shout out to them boys, Colorado. Let's see what they do.
Speaking of hate, y'all see what Whitlock said?
I don't
What you
pay
say?
attention to that.
I don't think he's
Or do
telling
we
the truth in
care?
that
Do
for
we
me.
care? Do we care? We don't care.
Nah,
I never
All right.
care about
what did he
this.
say?
I mean, come on, man. The usual hate, man. The usual hate. He said because of the post conference, because of the post game when Deion got up there. He said, "What
Talking
y'all?
the
Do y'all
shit.
believe now? Do you believe now?" And he's talking this shit, and Whitlock hate to see black man being confident and talking this shit to the press. You know what I'm saying? Like Deion, Whitlock hates that.
How dare you
So
talk to them white folks like that? How dare you?
Oh, Uncle Ruckus ass nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so
said it.
Yeah, we don't fuck with Whitlock over here either, man.
Man, I don't too much like Whitlock. Man, let's get into
Come on, man.
the next subject. So check this out, man. I know you guys have heard about it. I know I've texted y'all about it. The whole world has seen it, man. And I'm going to play a little bit of this video, so for the eyes and everybody can watch. I can't necessarily play certain stuff, but we're gonna get into this.
I know what this is. I know what this is.
I want to give him my number. And all y'all just fucking watch. Y'all see that shit? Y'all see that shit? What y'all do? I want y'all to be a man. I want y'all to be a man and fucking do something. Y'all gonna let a man hit me in my face? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men and was like, "What you gonna do?" And I told all these men, like, "Yo, why this man got a brick on my face?" And he's holding a brick, and all these niggas is watching, and nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face, and they all just watch, and they let that nigga get in a car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? Follow and support.
Okay.
Bro, that's called
All
they
right.
put the sad. Why they gotta put the sad music behind it, bro? Like it wasn't no music behind that
Well, that
original video,
that was
man.
from
Like
another
that's
person's
hey
TikTok. That was another person's TikTok trying to pull support from that. So first and foremost, here on MCXP Radio and the BGSE network altogether, we do not promote any kind of violence whatsoever. I want that to be known. We're not supportive of that kind of anything. I don't think anybody truly deserves to get hit with a brick, not out of just unless it's somewhat of a defensive mechanism, you're getting attacked or something like that. Maybe I can understand, but we just don't promote no kind of violence. I don't condone any kind of violence and violence towards women, nothing like that. With that being said, now, if you do your research, and that's why you got to love the internet, because when you see videos like this that come out, the internet does all of its research, all the research that it needs to do, and it's videos on top of videos, and on top of videos that come out, so you can try to get a full story and get a picture and understanding of the whole thing. Now, number one, like I said, I don't condone the violence of this girl getting hit with the brick, but and I'm not gonna pull up any more of the video because I don't feel like necessarily pulling up all these videos. But if you do your research, this girl has a history, so to speak,
Question.
of questionable history
Yeah.
of number one, downing men, saying that men are not protectors. Uh, Men ain't shit. Women are the, providers, the caregivers, and everything like that. And then she also has videos where she is publicly going outside of her way, white men and stuff, and slapping them in their faces. And I don't know, she must be doing it for the gram, for the likes, for the follows, for the views, but she is actually doing this. And if you pay attention to some of her videos, she seems like the type of woman that likes to pop off at the mouth, doesn't really conduct herself in the right way, as a woman should. We see this in a lot of modern women nowadays. I tell you guys all the time that I feel like feminism has killed femininity. Um, I think that when it gets to situations like this, and of course, we don't know the true story, but there was a guy on TikTok that did post a video, and he said that he was actually there. I don't know if you guys seen it, but he said that he was there
Yeah.
the
I
night.
seen it.
He saw the girl
I
get
seen it.
hit with a brick, but he did state that this girl is known to be a troublemaker. This girl goes out of her way to talk shit to these guys in any kind of way. She finds trouble, she looks for trouble, and damn it, she found trouble. Karma hit her ass like a ton of bricks. Not to be funny about the situation, but I mean, you really have to realize that the things that you put out and the things that you do can always end up having consequences. Again, I don't condone this girl getting hit. I think homeboy, even if that was the case of him asking her number, and what's real strange to me is I don't feel like the guy just asked for her number, she said no, and then he just picked
You
up the
hit it
brick.
with a brick. Yeah, it don't make
I
no.
don't
It
think
don't.
that
I
happened.
don't think it
I
happened
just
like that.
don't. I don't feel like that happened. I feel like that the dude maybe asked for her number. She popped off at the mouth and said some off the wall shit to the wrong guy, and
We get to arguing
homeboy
back
just
and
took it to
forth.
another level. Homeboy just
Yep.
took it to another level. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Again, I mean, she got the massive hematoma right there on the side of her face, man. And I hope that she gets better. I know that she has made a GoFundMe account. Uh,
This is her second one. She had one in
yeah,
2020 as well.
yeah, I heard about that too. Yeah, you
Well,
got to do your research, man.
how much did the first one get? Do you know?
I don't know.
Because
I
this
think the
one
first
last
one,
This
the
one got like
first
30.
one I believe was like around like what the goal was like about 5,000 or something like that, and she kind of got close to that. But this one in particular, I believe last I saw was about 25,
I saw it at 30.
Yeah, I saw that
something
30.
like
I
that.
saw that
Yeah,
34.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So
Um,
I mean that's a lot of money. People are starting to question if it really happened, and I mean I don't really want to question that part of it. I'll just go by
I believe
what
it happened.
I'll just go by what she said, right? So in the video of her sitting in the hospital gown, she said the guy had a brick and he's holding a brick, right? So my thought was, okay, if you're standing there and you talking to a guy, he asked you for your phone number, and you said no, because that's she said all I said was no, and he's holding a brick and he's like, well, what you gonna do? So is that what he said or is that what she said? Because she's saying that's what he said, right? So if you see a guy and he's holding a
But
brick,
why would he say that though?
why would he say that? But if you see a guy and he's holding a brick and he's holding a brick back, why would you not move or run unless you didn't think he was going to do it? Or unless you were standing there like kind of daring him to do it, right? Because we know what happens when a lot of times when people get into arguments or they get into disputes. And not even talking men and women or whatever. I'm just talking about It could be men and men. It could be women and women. But a lot of times, when a woman and a man gets into a dispute, right? A woman will be like, "You ain't gonna hit me. I know you ain't gonna hit me. I bet you. I bet you won't hit me. I bet you not. You're not gonna do that. You ain't gonna do like
Pow.
so." Right, and it's like they never think you're gonna do it, or they keep testing you, telling you you ain't gonna do it, or you bet not do it, and then you do it, and then they say, "Why did you do it?"
It's a certain
So
group of
I
dudes
mean,
who are capable, but like a lot of dudes, I mean, most dudes will probably just take the high road and know when they're being provoked, but that's not all men. So women should be understanding of that. Like, okay, we're not supposed to hit y'all niggas, but it's a certain group of niggas that just hit women, and you have to be aware of that as a
Right.
woman when you out in the world and shit, especially when you by yourself. Like, you can get hit by somebody, and it could be a man because he probably don't give a fuck about hitting women. You know.
and I definitely don't condone that. I mean, I said
Yeah, I
that.
don't condone it either, but it's a
I
group of
said,
men who just do that shit. I'm just That's just the crazy part about the whole thing. Like, we all mind
well,
our manners and shit.
a lot of people that live on Twitter, and a lot of people, and a lot of people that live on TikTok and Twitter, they attempt to go out into the real world and live life as they want it to be
The
on
yeah,
Twitter.
fantasy life and real life.
Right. Right.
They try to live life as they think it should be, or they think it's supposed to be, instead of living in the reality of what it is, of what life really is. Like, you can't live your real life and a Twitter reality, or in a reality of what you think it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because real life is different from online, folks. I mean, it really is. There's real dangers and stuff, and I really kind of wanted to come at this from a slightly different aspect and talk about something like people maybe not haven't mentioned yet, or whatever, or some people may have, or whatever, but I haven't really seen a lot of discussion about this part of it yet. Is the like the self defense aspect of it, right?
Mhm.
So I mean, people did talk about, like, should it was a lot of discussion about should men defend women in general,
That was the
right?
next part to this. That was the next part I wanted to go into.
Okay, go ahead and bring that in, and then I'll come back.
Well, I mean, considering the fact that she made this video, and especially what she was saying was that, and if you really paid attention, and shout out to some of the YouTube channels that have been, kind of going through this. I know I've looked at mediocre tourism reviews, MTR, uh, Anton Smith, a couple other people, just kind of getting their insights on this. And number one, man, why would your if something like that is to happen, okay, why would your first initial thing to do is to pick up your phone, hit record, and try to record about it? You know what I'm saying? Instead
That's
of calling for
that's
help.
that
That's what they do.
that's what the that's what this generation does.
That's what they do.
You know what I'm saying? Um, Second of all, these kind of things, man, you have to be mindful of where you're at, the people that you're around, and how you need to conduct yourself in public, in these public assets, in these public settings nowadays. And I don't think a lot of people do. It's a lot of women out here, and I'm not just putting everybody down, but it's women out here that don't necessarily conduct themselves like honest women, especially when they're out there in public. They just don't, bro. They just don't. I know we all three of us come from a generation where, women acted like women growing up, man. It wasn't hard to sit there and tell. You see the femininity. You could be attracted to that stuff, man. It wasn't a lot of popping off at the mouth. We kind of knew our roles in these kind of situations. Now the roles have been so crossed over and so reversed that it's almost like a flip of the coin you don't understand. So with that being said, she comes out there and she's over there saying that there's a whole bunch of men around that saw her get hit with the brick and nobody came over there to defend her. Okay. Oh boy, that did post a TikTok and said that he was there. He saw the thing. He was saying that the girl was known for a troublemaker. And he made a good point. He said, why would I want to defend somebody that I know wants to seek out and get in trouble and find trouble and do stuff like that? I took it to a more personal setting. If I'm out and about with the boys, and knowing that I have a girl, knowing that I have a 11-month-year-old son at the house, I've got to really think about that kind of situation. Nigga, I want to go home to them at the end of the day.
At the
You
end of
know, at the end of the day, I want to go home to them, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Do you believe that guy was really there though? That's one thing I think that should be questioned as well. Like, do we just take his word for it that he was there?
if
everybody
we
took old
take her
girl's word.
take her yeah, this is exactly.
Everybody took her word.
Taking her word, you can take word of his until somebody come corroborate and say come until somebody comes and says, hey, that nigga wasn't there, but I was there and I got proof. You know, till that person comes out because there's more than one dude out there, right? It was a group of niggas out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a woman. It was a woman out there in her video. You can see it was a woman standing by that she didn't.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say, "Hey, why didn't this woman come protect me?" Which she said the women are the protectors, but she didn't say that. But she asked for the protection from men.
I
So
think that the question is
even though
like,
she said women are the protectors, it's like when something really happens in real life, like I
Ain't
said,
no woman come over there to protect her. She's looking for a man to protect
you're
her.
looking for a
And
man to
she
do
sat there and said that men are not protectors, we're not providers, nothing like that. But when she gets hit upside the head with the damn brick, she's looking for men to come over there and protect. And you can actually hear the guys in the background saying, like, what the fuck you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What do you expect me to do?
well, and she said, "Well, be men." The thing that gets me is be specific, right? So you can't be men. I want you to be men. Okay, be men as what?
yeah,
Do you
to
want
be
us
yeah.
to do what specifically? Do you want us to beat him up? Do you want us to detain him for the police? Like, you know what I'm saying? You chose to record a video instead of call the police yourself. Maybe you know that area don't really take too kind to police being called there. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. That there's a lot of people in the community who don't like to call the police, right? For certain
Right.
things or for certain
I'm supposed
reasons
to
and
have
stuff like
warrants
that.
and all types of
We
shit.
we do understand that. I mean, we say it to each other. I mean, we've been saying it for a while, right? Like, don't call the police because the police will come and shoot the person
Yeah, shoot
who
everybody.
called
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking police. We've
Yeah.
seen stories of that happen. Of a person was a victim of crime, somebody runs into their house, or the neighbor across the street thinks the neighbor, like, so the lady was sitting in her house playing video games with her son. She left her front door open because it's very hot. The neighbor across the street calls the police to do a welfare check on the house. The police comes to the house. The front door is wide open. They don't announce themselves. They don't say, "Hey, it's the police." They don't go inside the house. The police, he walks around the house, and she hears someone's outside her house, so she grabs a firearm, her legally owned firearm. The police walks up to her window, sees her with the firearm inside her house, and shoots her through the window without ever announcing himself as a police officer. So who killed her? The police officer killed her, but the neighbor said, they interviewed the neighbor, and the neighbor was like, "Shit, I feel bad. I even fucking called the cops because I called the cops to do a welfare check because the door is wide open. I'm thinking maybe somebody broke in her house. The cops get there and shoot the homeowner in her own
Mm,
home
In front of her kid.
in front of her."
mm.
And that's not the only instance of, I mean, there's been people who's personally called the cops themselves, and the cops came there and shot them. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? So, I mean, or a mother called the cops on her son because his son was having a mental breakdown, right? Like, he's having mental issues and stuff. And the cops get there and shoot this woman's son. That's happened more than once. Yeah, I remember it happened in Philadelphia where the cops get there and the kid is holding a knife. Now, I mean, hey, he had a knife. He ran towards the cops. The cops are almost
Right.
always going to shoot. Yeah, the cops are almost going to shoot you in that situation. It happened another time where I believe it was a knife involved as well. The woman, the boy was having some kind of mental thing going on. The cop get there and shoots her son.
Mm.
So, I mean, I understand why people don't want to call the police. I understand that.
I'm just asking y'all in this situation with this chick, were the men right? Were the men wrong? Who should
I
men
don't
defend
think
in some kind of situation like that?
I don't think there is a right or wrong. A lot of this shit varies with the man himself. What type of man are you? Are you the type of man who will put himself on the line just just because, or are you the nigga who assessing the situation? Like, who is
Mm.
this nigga? Why did he hit her? Can I take this nigga? Does he got a gun? Does he got another brick? Because that might happen. The nigga might have two bricks. I put a brick out of his back pocket. You never know with
Mhm.
these with these
Yeah.
brick players. So there's a lot of thought put into it. Like, but my thing
Does he have
is,
a Does he
if
have a
it's
knife?
one
Does he have
dude,
a knife?
a knife. If it's one dude and it's, let's say it's four of us, right, or the three of us, right, and it's one dude, and we see a woman get hit, like probably 5 feet in front of us, like we can probably get him, but he might pull a hammer out and shoot two of us. Like, you
Okay,
never
but I
know.
mean, do you at least say something? Do you at least, hey man, like
Yeah,
hey
I
you gotta
might
say
man,
say
something.
something.
You
I
gotta say
might
something.
say something, but it's
Something
not
right
like to
there.
the
You gotta
point that
say.
I'm a.
You have to say
I'm not gonna
something.
sit there and put my hands and
Right.
get right in the middle. I'm not gonna like go over there and touch them and be like, hey dog, like what? Nah, bro, no. Like I said, I got a kid, I got a girl to come home to, bro. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna
because I
put
mean,
myself in that
even
situation for some random chick that I don't
I
even know.
don't know. Like, I
I
don't know. I
don't
can't risk
know
my
her.
life for someone I don't know.
They
People
could
think
be
they know
even
me.
together. This could be a normal thing that goes between them. Just domestic violence or something that just so happens to be outside. This may be a normal thing. You don't know what the hell is going on. She could have been popping off at the mouth and said some fly shit.
I mean, I follow a gentleman on Twitter named Terrain Walker, and you can look up his Twitter. And he posted a thread. It was just of men that were killed inserting themselves in between disputes. And they all weren't just simply domestic disputes. Some of them were random men who tried to help a random woman who was attacked in public. You know what I'm saying? One of them was at a restaurant. Most of them, admittedly, most of them were domestic disputes. This situation, so we're going by the words of the people who was there. So we can't say it was a domestic dispute because she didn't say the guy was her boyfriend. She said the
Mhm.
guy was a random man who asked for her number. So this is technically not a domestic dispute between a man and his girl, girl and her man, or whatever, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband and wife. That's not what this is. This was between random people. I agree with Grip when he says, we have to assess these things on an individual basis. I think,
Of course.
you know what I'm saying? Like you have to assess the situation or whatever. I mean, a lot of times when you insert yourselves in between any two people that's arguing, the person who's the angriest or who's the aggressor, a lot of times they tend to lose focus on the person they were originally angry at, and now they're upset with you
Now it's on you now. Now you looking
because
like,
now
oh,
it's
let me
on
get this
you
nigga.
because you said something, you know what I'm saying, and like you're involved, you know what I'm saying, like. So I saw a guy, it was a video at a gas station where uh this it was a black dude and he was arguing with some women or something like that. And I couldn't tell if it was a Latino guy, a white guy, or what, but it was a non-black man who was at the next pump over, and he's like said something, and the black dude was like, "What? Like, oh, you want to say?" He went over there and knocked the guy out in front of his son. I
Damn.
mean, knocked him cold out, and his son is like, now this guy is on the ground, and his son is like cradling his dad. You know what I'm saying? Because the dad said, and he only said something. He didn't go over there and physically try to get inside. He said something probably like, "Hey man, stop messing with them. Like stop." You know what I'm saying? And now immediately the black guy swole kind of dude, got a little muscle on him. Entire focus changes from who he's originally upset at and walks over to this guy and knocks him cold out, right? So, I mean, this is the danger, right? Like, this is what you insert yourself
Women don't
into.
understand that. They don't understand that those threats of violence, just that those low level threats of violence, what Kevin saying, what he's saying, that exists amongst men. Women don't live like that. Like it can be set off at any fucking time. Like the moment you step up to this nigga, hey, don't you mother pop, 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 pop.
Right.
Stick with the knife. Like women don't understand that. They just think that dude's supposed to just go out there and just put their life on the line and stuff like that because they in distress or some shit like that.
It's a romanticized type of thing where the woman wants to see the knight in shining armor come and save them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they want men to, they want good, decent men, or even if it's not a decent man, they want any man that's standing around, right? But they want any man standing around to want to do the honorable thing to insert themselves against a guy who's obviously dishonorable, right? Like this guy, if he's picking up a brick and hitting a person with a brick, then this guy is a dishonorable guy. You know what I'm saying? So they want the honorable man, and then it's like everybody always want a fair fight, right? Because I see a lot of times on the internet, they be like, oh man, you pussy for pulling a gun, or you a pussy for using a knife. Like, oh, nobody don't fight anymore. Everybody want to shoot. Okay, everybody want to go home too.
Right.
So some people not into fist fighting, bro. Like some people are not gonna fight you with their fists. Some people are gonna fight dirty. You don't know who's a dirty fighter, who has a knife, who has mace, who has a gun, who has a goddamn lightning rod up their goddamn pants. Like who knows what these people
You don't
have,
know.
where they're at in their life, what kind of fucking drugs they're on, how drunk they are. We don't know any of this information.
I don't want to find nobody that's over here swinging bricks. Not gonna do it.
Wait, okay, but hold on. Okay, wait. All right, let me just ask you two dudes. Let me just ask. Okay, say this shit happened in front of you, right? And you with your girl, and you guys both watched this shit happen, right? But in your mind, when you look at this nigga, you think you can take him. Like you think you can sleep him with one punch. Other niggas you might be apprehensive about, I get it. But what if you feel in your heart of hearts that I can sleep this nigga? Pause.
I have seen a lot of guys in my lifetime where I feel like I could sleep them.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I've seen a lot of instances where the little guy was able to sleep the big guy from one punch. But if I'm with my girl and I see this right in front of me, I'm looking at my girl like, baby, let's go.
Say it again. Say it again.
Baby, let's go. We're going. We're going to keep ourselves out of this situation so we can go home. This has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
Let's go home.
Even if I think I can take the nigga, I'm not doing nothing. I don't know what this nigga might have. He might have whatever on him.
I don't know what he has, bro.
Well,
in
it's
a
interesting.
society like this, I don't know if it's not my girl, if it's not like my sister, my cousin, like somebody like,
especially out there where y'all at. Holy
nah, bro.
Yeah.
No.
That's the thing too. Like you said, in a society like this, because the social contract has broken down, right? Like there is no social contract. There is no norms. There is no order, right? Like so in the old days, maybe we could do something like this, but like the social contract between men and women is not the same. It's like a lot of women have been saying that they don't need a man or whatever. They don't need this. They don't need or want protection. They don't want anything from a man. But
this is manipulation.
when that's manipulation. I think that's just them being hurt sometimes. And then, there's a lot of men who's like, I won't help anybody. I'm going to mind my business. A lot of men were told by their mothers and fathers to mind their own business. I mean, let's be real. Like, this is what we were taught. A lot of people on the internet say that all the time. Well, you should have minded your business. why did you get involved with
They
that
sat
or
there and ate
whatever?
your
Like
food. Motherfuckers be
you
saying.
can
Yep. Yep.
you
Yep.
could have kept it pushing and everything like that. So,
Yep.
people say these things, but then something happens and they're like, well, why didn't nobody step up to help? Another
Because I always
aspect,
said something if that not to cut you off, broken, but if that dude who said he was there, if something happened to him, everybody, you should have mind your motherfucking business, dog. You should have sat there and ate your food, dog.
Facts.
It's a
Facts.
lose-lose situation any way it go for me.
Facts. Facts.
well, I
All
mean, and
facts.
then if you look at him, right, like he's the type of guy they would generally call either corny, lame, or whatever. Like he kind of looked like he might be in the video games or anime. I mean, I don't know. He just
He
kind of
wouldn't
had
do
that
much
look,
anyway if he
and
did
I,
do something. Like them
and
type
and
of
yeah,
Hey,
he
hey,
wasn't.
he's
And
still living,
I'm
ain't he?
not. Yes.
The nigga
So
didn't go to
no,
the hospital, didn't
I'm not
he? And then went
totally.
home. He went home that night, right?
he went
You can
home.
call me corny.
I
You can
mean,
say
I'm not.
whatever you want to call me.
But I'm not. I'm not down in his looks. Me personally, I'm saying generally what people would say. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. And I don't have nothing against the brother or anything like that. But I'm just saying he didn't look like a big guy to me. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
wasn't.
it's a
He
regular average
wasn't.
dude.
He's just a regular average dude.
It wasn't like it was Van
So
Damme or none of that shit. It was just a
yeah,
regular.
yeah, he wasn't all swole and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
Andrew Tate is not a super big guy, but he's muscular. And Andrew Tate is a fucking MMA fighter. Like he fought mixed martial arts and he's a trained fighter. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if this guy was trained in Muay
he
Thai
wasn't
or
saying anything. He's probably that guy from the
Jiu-Jitsu.
side.
You don't know
Yeah,
nobody's
Young
background,
nigga,
bro. You
not
don't
looking for
know
no
folks'
trouble.
background.
Just want to go
not looking
home.
for no trouble. Right, right. So one of the things I said, was that a lot of times women need to. I think women need to carry firearms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to protect themselves a lot of times from certain men, some men who they think they should feel safe around. You know what I'm saying? But also I think one thing people weren't talking about a little bit is the legality behind self-defense. So people want men to jump into these situations, but people have to think about the legality of self-defense and the legality if you're going to be charged or not with a crime. Because inserting yourself into a dispute with other people and something happens, what if y'all jump the guy with the brick? And I mean, this dude just refuses to stop fighting, right? And he ends up dead.
Then that becomes on us.
What if you punch the guy, he falls and his head hits the same goddamn brick that he slapped her with,
Yeah.
right? And and now he's bleeding from the head and he dies. Now, you could catch a charge from that. So even though I said, okay, women should carry firearms, but people need to understand the laws within their own state. This happened in Texas, right? So she cannot legally carry a firearm probably in that club. If that club was serving alcohol, which more than likely it was, right? So you cannot carry a firearm inside a club in Texas that serves that makes their money like more than 51%, right? So this is the law. Texas,
Can't go the facts.
you may not carry into a premises that has a liquor license and derives 51% or more of its income from the sale or service of alcohol beverages for on-premises consumption, right? So that's the law in Texas, right? So on-premises consumption, right? So that will be a bar or a club. So if that club derives 51% or more of their income from alcohol, which a lot of clubs and bars do. Think about there's also another bar in Houston, right, where they was doing the pour out the liquor thing. Did y'all see that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Where the guys, it was like the bottle, it's something like the bottle challenge or something like that, right? So these guys
no.
are buying These guys are buying markup bottles, 300, 400, 500, who knows how much per bottle, right? And just pouring them out, right? Just to prove that they got money like that, to waste money, right? I guarantee that establishment makes more than 51% of their income on alcohol, right? Because they're selling the all these bottles and the guys are just pouring them out. So anybody who's carrying a firearm in that establishment is doing so illegally. So if you're already carrying illegally, you get into a fight, someone attempts to hit you with a brick or throw a brick at you or hit you with a brick, you can say, I'm doing self-defense. You shoot them. Now, maybe you get off on the self-defense. It's possible you're not convicted of murder or homicide. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to get hit with the gun charge, right? Because you were carrying illegal in that situation. Also, you cannot legally carry a firearm in Texas, and I'm sure the law is probably the same in most states. Texas already has some of the most base firearm carrying laws in the nation, so I don't see why it'd be, if it's illegal in Texas, it's almost illegal anywhere, right? Like you cannot carry a firearm in Texas while intoxicated, right? So, they'll usually go by the legal intoxication limit, even for driving. So that's 0.8. So women have to understand that their alcohol tolerance is lower because of body mass index, right? So if they have a couple drinks, they're over zero point 0.8 limit. They cannot legally carry a firearm if they're intoxicated, if they're drunk. You see what I'm saying? So like there's a lot of different laws involved with self-defense and when you can carry, where you can carry, where it's legal, when it's legal for you to use self-defense. Now, Texas also has some of the best laws for self-defense in terms of you can defend yourself or someone else who's in grave bodily danger. But you still may get the gun charge. You still the DA is gonna throw all these charges at you, right? So if you were to shoot the guy with the brick, you may get investigated, you may get let home, but the simple fact is the police shows up, it's at a bar, they're gonna ask you where you're drinking. Does the establishment have the 51% rule where they make more than 51%? Okay, did you carry the gun inside? Where'd you get the gun from? Did you go get it from your car? Or did you have it on your person the whole time? You see what I'm saying? All of these facts are going to be established, and you might get charged with a gun charge. You might end up getting charged with homicide or whatever. The jury may see it that, hey, this guy was clearly inebriated. He didn't have to shoot the guy. You know what I'm saying? And he shot the guy or whatever. So you were trying to defend someone, but then you may end up with a murder charge, or you may end up with just a simple gun charge. But a guy who has no record, who's legally carrying his firearm, well, before you started drinking, right? Or, you can't legally carry in those establishments, as I already stated. But say if you're not a felon, you're a non-felon, you're able to legally carry and everything, you're trying to do everything the right way, you know what I'm saying? But you still have to be aware of the laws, the self-defense laws in your state or whatever you may reside. In some states, like they try to charge people for defending themselves all the time. It was a guy in New York who he owned a business, he owned his own establishment. A guy is a video, it's on video. The guy came around the counter and started beating on this guy. He stabbed the guy and killed him or whatever, defending himself, and they tried to charge him with murder. The only reason why they end up dropping the charges is because, like, to be honest, it got big on right wing Twitter. Right wing Twitter was like, hey, it's not, you shouldn't charge this guy with murder when he's defending himself from a guy in his store, from a customer who came around the counter and started beating on him. You see what I'm saying? So some of these states will literally might try to charge you for defending yourself or someone else. So we have to be aware of that as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people have to be aware of there's so many different threats. Now, I understand some women and stuff like that are gonna sit back and say these are all excuses. These are all excuses for why men don't want to be men, why men don't want to step up and protect us. That's I've seen those arguments right on Twitter. It's like, man, you're just a bitch or whatever. You're just a pussy. It's a cop out. You're scared. The only reason why you didn't do anything is because you're scared. You're coming up with all these excuses for why you're not being a man. Like, so are these excuses? Or are these really considerations that people, not just men, but women, should have to think about themselves when they try to defend someone or, themselves or someone else? Like being aware of the self-defense laws, the concealed carry laws, where you can carry, where you can't carry, and what situations you can and what situations you can't, and valid uses of force. You know what I'm saying? In a self-defense situation. What do y'all think about everything I just laid out right there?
Holy shit, bro! Can you talk for like 15 minutes?
He really did.
This nigga said, well, what do you think about what I just said?
There's a lot. There's a lot
So
to take in, bro. There's a lot to
said
take
a lot.
in. Look, I will answer it in the whole roundabout. Everything that you said, and I understand all the technical of it. But it kind of just takes me going back to what Chris said, man. Shit, mind your own business.
You
Just
have to.
mind your own business, man. You know, in
so
in
it's
today's
just
society that we have right
it's
now,
that
in today's
it's
society that
it's
we have
that
right now,
simple.
Yeah, keep your fucking kids. Like
shit,
if you got kids, you got a family to get back home to. You got to take your ass back home. What the fuck do you look like ending up in jail because you jumped in because you was trying to be the hero of some shit? Like, let's protect all women, but fuck, you got to protect yourselves too at the same time. You got to be worried. You got to understand the world you live in, not the world you want to
most
live in.
most good people in today's society have a good morality code, and I understand that they have a morality code. They want to see people do good. They are, they're willing to speak up against things that are bad, things that are just out of whack and whatnot. And yeah, we talk about it all the time when we have our texts and stuff like that. But still, at the same time, we also have common sense to know, like, shit. It's some things, even though it's messed up, we don't need to be putting ourselves in the middle of this situation.
Nigga, I had
Again,
two
I keep
bricks.
telling you guys, I have a son. I have a girl that I have to come home to. So I have to be mindful of that. At my job, anywhere that I'm at, I have to be able to conduct myself in a way that's going to allow me to get home safely every single day. Every single day. And that'd be my main goal. That's like my only goal, bro. I go out there, do whatever I got to do at the job, whatnot. And at the end of the day, man, I'm trying to see both of them walk through that door, man, and make sure like we just made it through another day. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying I'm not out there willing to help anybody, that's in distress or something like that. I mean, give or take the situation, whatever it is, man. But shit, I learned a long time ago. You got to mind your own business. Everything is not designed for you to jump in. Everything is not there for you to put your emphasis and whatnot into those situations, man. Shit.
Don't let the women shame you into that shit. Don't let them fucking try to belittle you because you're not gonna just immediately just jump
No,
in. Like they're
I
gonna talk
don't know
to
you.
you. I don't fucking know you. Like, no. Like I don't it's a level of entitlement to expect someone to just do that. Um I understand it from their point of view, but at the same time, though, like I said before, when you guys are out there by yourselves or with your friends, when you're not with any men, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You got to
Yes.
be vigilant. You got to carry pepper spray, taser, hammer if it's allowed where you at. Like you got to. If we're protecting ourselves from men, you need to too. You can't just be pretty.
You
You
gotta conduct yourselves accordingly, man.
got to
You have
conduct
to
yourself
conduct yourselves
accordingly.
accordingly. No doubt, man. And with that being
So
said,
that
fellas,
well, just one more question then, because we asked about the random women though. So what about family members? Because what I saw was that men generally save their protection for. I saw the argument that a lot of men were making was that men generally save their protection for their own wives, right? Like their own
That's how it should
oh
wives,
be.
their
yes,
their girlfriends, their family members, their sisters, their mothers, their aunts. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Their people and their family. You know what I'm saying? Like for a random woman to expect you, a stranger. So is it different between the protection that a stranger receives than the protection a family member receives from a man? Is there a difference?
It's both.
yes,
Both of them is different, but it's both of them is situational. You're just more apt to just go with less information if it's a family member, and especially if it's something happening in front of you. It's go time. It don't matter what this nigga got. That's my sister right there. It's my mama right there. It's my grandma right there. My cousin right there. Let's go. We on go. But if it's a stranger, then it's like there's other things we have to, you know, take into consideration. We might not jump as fast or
you
not
have
jump
to
at all.
you have to think of it like this, man. You're a stranger to a million other people out there, and there's something that's happening to you, and you may want somebody to help, but it's gonna be people that's gonna be who's not gonna help. You're a stranger to a whole bunch of million other people that's out there. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Nigga, I got the piece that we exchanged, and now that I got the piece in the house, who do you think that's for? Family. So anybody that comes in this house is getting blasted. Square biz, but
So
I got
is
that
that
for family.
so when you said that men, we as men are strangers to, we're also strangers to millions of other people out there and they may not help us. Is that the equality that women ask for? Are
No,
they
that's just the way of the world. You know, that has nothing to do with like gender roles or gender norms or whatever like that. It's just that's just how the world is. It's one of those social contracts. A lot of social contracts are broken, like you said, but there's a couple of them that's still up, and that's one of them. Um, but it's always situational. A sensible man is not going to just jump head first into some bullshit for a fucking stranger. You know,
Exactly.
he's just not gonna do it. Like
Exactly.
it's not. He's not a coward. He's not anything like that. He might be afraid, but fear keeps us alive. So
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I mean that's square biz. But on that note, fellas, man, look, wonderful conversation for everything. We've been on this air for about an hour and almost 18 minutes. Damn good conversation. I gotta get up out of here because shit, I gotta work in the morning.
me too.
Real talk. But this is good stuff, man. I want to thank you guys, my brothers. You guys are, you already know it is brothers from my mother. No doubt, man, for my man, Brian, aka Broken Safety, my man Grip, aka Chris. Make sure you check out Chris's podcast, host of Chris Hates Everything. Y'all know I'm
YouTube,
the host of MCXP Radio. Yes, sir. Find it
Instagram,
on YouTube, Instagram, the TikTok.
TikTok.
Um, BGSENetwork, all of that good stuff, man. People, I wish we can continue. We may have to end up doing a part two coming up soon, man, because this is a very, very good topic. Very, very good topic. But man, you guys keep us in your prayers, everything like that. Of course, you always know I tell y'all if y'all need some help, mental help, go seek it. Go seek it. Talk to somebody. Friends may tell you what you want to hear, but sometimes it's good to hear from somebody that can tell you what you need to hear. So always try to get some help if you need to. For myself, for my boy Broken, for my boy Chris, man, MCXP Radio and BGSC Network, y'all. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go to sleep.
All
Much
right,
love.
peace out.
Peace.
that word?
Cruising in a Rari with the hair and nails and toes done. Always keep it stylish. Never gonna give me.
We're gonna make a lot of women mad at this one, but it's alright.
Gonna get a shot at romance. It's kinda too cold.
Yeah.
I'm ice cold.
Listen. Long hair, brown skin with a smile to match. Hit the